Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, I'm doing a little showcase video for the new Sugo Fest exclusive that has come out on OPTC Global, that is Luffy Sanji. So in today's video, we're going to be hopping into the Hawkins Forest, taking a Luffy Sanji team, and Luffy Sanji are just built for long content, and they can just do some really crazy things with their overheal mechanic, as well as having like some pretty decent damage output for a dual unit. So, if you guys don't want to like check out the team, if you guys just want to check out the runners, this is more of a showcase video rather than a like tutorial video. I will leave timestamps in the description below, so if you do want to head down, you can click on the timestamp to start the run. And while you're down there, make sure to smash that like button for me. If you are new to the channel, consider subscribing as well. But the leader for this team obviously is Luffy and Sanji. Their special is incredible. A 2.5 times attack boost at full health, 2 times otherwise. They rotate block orbs into recovery, they make recovery matching, and they have that crazy overheal mechanic. The overheal mechanic is just insanely strong, as you can just get so much HP with this unit. It's absolutely insane. Their captain ability is a 5 times captain, which is excellent. Rainbow, 4.5 times if you're not at full HP, and a 1.2 times HP boost. Heals crews HP by 2000, and then allows the overheal mechanic, which is just absolutely insane. So not only do they heal, they give block orb, they rotate block orbs, they give recovery orbs, they give an attack boost. They just do so much for their team, and they have a very good limit break too, with pinch healing, recovery bind, and the new hunger debuff. They also have an incredible switch ability, which is another reason why they're just so fantastic. They're going to be very, very good as a sub. As a captain, between them and Shanks, they're probably the best, or the only good sort of dual units that you could run as leaders. Well, I won't say that, but in sense of like, they're more viable rather than stuff like the super types, which are just way better at putting damage. But this guy's main perk is his switch ability. Changes his slot to recovery, makes them matching for 1 turn for the entire crew, and then reduces bind, despair, and paralysis. Very, very good switch ability. And I will be doing a showcase as him as a sub, as that's where I think he's probably going to shine the most. But today, we're just making him look very, very good with the team that we've built around him. So the units on this team, we have Shanks crew. You guys know how great Shanks crew is. The switch ability to give 3 matching orbs, 3.5 times chain lock for 3 turns, does a 20% HP cut, gives a 1.5 times attack boost every turn. They are incredible. Now, they're probably not essential for this team. They do make the run a lot quicker, as you'll see in my video, and they do make things a lot easier. But I've just got them here just because of that switch ability, basically. Plus, the chain lock's very, very nice. It just helps getting through those 40 stages without using specials a lot easier. But as I mentioned, you could replace them with someone like another attack booster or something like that. And then you can just sort of stall. Like, you can infinitely stall on like the Zoro stage and stuff like that. So there is places where you can stall rather than the way that I actually completed the run as well. Next unit we have on the team is Vivi and Rebecca. Now, Vivi and Rebecca are just absolutely goat for long content. Every forest, basically, if you have them, use them, because of their switch ability giving extra 2,000 healing. Whoop. Hang on one sec. Because of their special giving an extra 2,000 healing, on top of their 2.5 times chain lock and their orb manipulation. It's very, very strong, but they are replaceable in this team with someone like Robin. The summertime Robin would work fine, or even someone like Bobbins you could even try as well. Next, we've got Corazon. Corazon is an amazing sub. I love this unit, and whenever I can bring him, I will. I have limit break keyed him, and if you do have the spare materials and a key laying around, I would recommend it, especially for forests. He's an absolute god for forests. He basically reduces 3 turns of basically every debuff in the game, plus he has a crazy heal mechanic. On his limit break key, he goes up to 12 turns too, which is very, very strong. But the main reason that we do have Corazon here is so we can use the support of Perispera. Now, we do only have 3 cerebral units, but when you use the Corazon special, Perispera is going to lock your orbs, which is very, very handy against Holden, so you can get the carryover effect of the recovery orbs into the Kinemon and Kanjuro stage. So that's pretty essential, as we just want to lock our orbs so that way we can keep the recovery orbs throughout the entire run. Finally, we have Dex Sabo. Now, Dex Sabo is a bit of an interesting one on this team, but he's our orb booster for the team. We are rocking pretty much a whole fighter, shooter, free spirit team, except for Vivi, Rebecca, and Shanks when they're sort of in their dual forms and when you have Shanks or when you have Rebecca. But otherwise, he will be an orb booster for basically the entire team. He's also a chain locker as well, but the big reason we have him here is for this crewmate ability. He makes fighter, shooter, and free spirit characters recovery in T&D slots have matching slot effects. Now, you might be thinking, well, Stumped, you can just switch with Luffy Sanji and you can make recovery orbs matching there. Well, unfortunately, when you get to the Jack stage, you actually get a debuff that makes every color unmatching, and that overwrites their switchability, which sucks, honestly. It's a big hindrance to the unit. I really wish that they just made recovery orbs matching in their dual form. Like, just make recovery orbs matching. Like, just do it. Like, because you can't switch in their dual form, right? So it would have made a lot of sense to make recovery orbs matching whenever you were Luffy and Sanji. But they don't have that, unfortunately, so we do need to bring this Sabo. That way we can make recovery orbs matching pretty much the whole time. When you are Vivi or Crew for Shanks, you will have that matching orb effect, though. So it works very, very well, actually. And he's a very good unit, gives a lot of extra damage. And yeah, but as I mentioned, this is a very whale-centric team. It's a full Sugo team. As I mentioned, this is not really more of like a how-to video. It's more of a showcase for what Luffy Sanji can actually do. We do have the Liberal Hind as our ship for this team. Liberal Hind, the best ship in the game, in my opinion. It's very good with extra healing, extra recovery, plus the extra attack boost. And finally, for supports, we do have Mystems on our Luffy Sanji. If that's essential, I'm not 100% sure. I don't actually think it is, but it definitely makes the run a lot smoother. The rest is just stat boosters beside Perispera. And with that, let's hop into the run. So here we are at the Hold'em stage. Now, I decided to start at the Hold'em stage as basically the run. You're just using the switch abilities of your usual culprits, Vivi, Rebecca, Shanks crew. You're just constantly healing with Luffy and Sanji as well, which is very, very good. So on the Hold'em stage, after you've stalled out the threshold, is when we're actually going to burst him down. So what we're going to do is we're going to be using our friend Luffy Sanji special after we've switched, as that way we can give ourselves a full board of recovery orbs. Then what we can do is we can use our Corazon special, as he has the Perispero support for extra healing, as well as locking our Cerebral orbs. Now, that's the big thing. We want to lock those Cerebral orbs, and then switch with Vivi Rebecca afterwards, so then Corazon doesn't remove the chain lock. And then what you can actually do is, just with the 3 Cerebral units, you can actually just wipe Hold'em. And that way you hang on to all of those meat orbs, so when we move into the next stage against Kinemon and Kanjuro, and they give us that annoying orb block mechanic, we can actually use that in our favor, as we do have a full board recovery orb. So once you come into this stage, they are going to paralyze our captains for 3 turns. They roll at your captain specials back by like 5 turns or something, and then your middle row back as well. It's very, very annoying, but we do have Mystems on our Luffy Sanji. Hopefully you guys pulled him with the latest support tickets. So we are using Mystems on there to remove the paralysis on our Luffy Sanji and to roll our specials forward, so we can actually use that a little bit sooner. Then we're just going to use the switch abilities of our usual culprits, Luffy Sanji, Vivi Rebecca, and Shanks crew, so that way we can put out a little bit of damage. Now, you do want to be careful on this particular stage, as with those switch abilities, you can actually output like a stupid amount of damage. As you'll see, like, I'm just hitting goods, or not even hitting goods, and just letting their like normal attacks just do damage while we stall out that extra turn of paralysis. Once that extra turn of paralysis is gone, once again, we can use the switch abilities of our usual culprits to give ourselves the chain lock. Luffy has a higher captain ability, plus he's a red unit, so I do want to be in my Luffy form. And then we can just start doing damage to Kinemon and Kanjuro. So we're going to attack with our red units on Kinemon first, and you can just hit grades here. We just have so many like buffs from our switch abilities that just getting through their HP is really not that big of a deal. Moving into stage 15 now, we come up against Kyoto-Shiro. Kyoto-Shiro is going to put up 4 turns of defense up. Basically what we want to do here is we actually want to stall that out. So we are just going to sit here and just pass a few turns. And then when he puts up his damage reduction on turn 3, that's when we're going to burst him down. So on the second turn, he's going to special bind us for 2 turns. That's where Corazon is amazing for this particular piece of content, as his Sailor ability can just remove 1 turn of paralysis, 1 turn of special bind, and it just helps out a lot. On this second turn now, Kyoto-Shiro puts up the damage reduction, which is really, really handy for us because we are going to be using our Vivi Rebecca special. So what we're going to do here is we're going to switch with our Vivi Rebecca, so we get the chain lock. We're then going to switch with our Shanks crew, so we get the attack buff. Then we can use our Vivi Rebecca special to remove his defensive effects. And then we can switch with Luffy and Sanji, and that way Luffy and Sanji can be the Sai units. And that way we should have heaps of damage, plus we have a matching orb on our Shanks now with the switchability of Luffy and Sanji. So that way we can just hit some greats here. And with the color affinity as well that, we didn't even need to hit that perfect, but with the color affinity that Vivi Rebecca provides, Shanks crew just hits stupidly hard provided you move into the Sai variation. Now on the next stage we come up against Jack. Now Jack's actually going to gloom our captains for 2 turns. But with the amazing switch ability, the utility that Luffy Sanji can provide in just using their switch ability is so damn broken. It just helps so much. Jack gives us that debuff where every single color orb is going to be unmatching. Now, this is where Luffy Sanji actually gets ridiculously cucked, as because of that debuff, we actually lose out on our switch ability. So every time we switch with Luffy Sanji now, we actually can't get the recovery orbs matching. But that's the big reason we actually brought Sabo on this team. Sabo's our orb booster, which is great. But the real reason we brought Sabo is because he makes orbs matching. He makes, what's it called? He makes, for fighters, free spirits, and shooters, he makes recovery orbs matching, which is really, really strong for this particular team, as besides like Shanks when he's in Shanks and crew, like the dual form, plus Vivi Rebecca when they're in their dual form, or if you're Rebecca, I think you actually will have matching orbs, which is really, really cool. It's a really cheeky little tactic. So we are going to use Sabo's special here, so we get the chain lock as well as getting the orb buff, and with that we're going to stay as our Luffy captain here. So we can get the higher multiplier, and then we can just hit some perfects with one of our green units, so that way we can just take out Jack's HP pool. Basically what happens is when you kill Jack, he just reses and runs away, because we will see him later in the fight. So on stage 17 now, we come up against Wano Kuni Law, Zorojiro, and Soba Mask. They're going to bind your top right, bottom right, middle left, and that's again where the amazing switch ability of Luffy Sanji comes into play, as we can literally just switch with our Luffy Sanji unit, and that way we can just remove the bind. It's actually incredible, their switch ability. It's busted how strong it is. So then what we're going to do now is we're actually just going to use our Luffy Sanji special. That way we can just heal back to full, get ourselves a 2.5 times attack boost, and then we can switch with our Vivi Rebecca, and that way we can get a chain lock as well. We actually might switch with our Shanks crew as well, just so we have color affinity on Law. Alright, now we want to take out Law on this first turn. Very, very important that you actually take Law out, as Law is the dangerous one. Soba Mask is a bit dangerous after like 3 turns, but Zorojiro you don't have to worry about too much, because on the second turn he's just going to bind our top left, middle right, bottom left, and that's where we can actually just use our Corazon special once again to actually just remove the bind, as well as heal ourselves back to full. Once we get past this particular stage, the healing aspect is going to like drop off significantly, so we do want to be at the highest amount of health that we possibly can. So now that we've basically removed all the debuffs, we're just going to use our switch abilities and just hit some greats so we can hang on to those meat orbs as well. On the next stage, we come up against Jack once again. Now, Jack puts up 4 turns of threshold, damage reduction. He does like a HP card, he gives us attack down. He does like a whole bunch of nasty stuff. But the thing is, we just have meat orbs, and we can literally just stall all this out with our meat orbs. So, like I said, after this particular stage against Jack, Kaido is going to reduce our recovery, which basically means that we're not going to be able to recover. So we really, really want to make sure that we can, well, what am I trying to say? We really want to stay at max HP. So just like hitting your goods, gobbling up all these meat orbs is actually going to be really, really handy when we move into the Kaido stage. Every single turn, Jack's going to do like a HP card. He changes colors. He just does a whole bunch of annoying stuff. I would recommend being in your Sanji unit. That way you can get some more healing from the captain ability of Sanji. Sanji gives an extra 1,000 healing, and then with the switch ability of Vivi Rebecca, you guys will see like the healing we actually get on this particular team is around 6k at the end of every single turn with the Liberal Heim, which is just gnarly, like absolutely insane. We do want to switch into Vivi Rebecca, as now Jack has turned into a Dex unit. So once Jack turns into a Dex unit, he's going to blow away your captain one more time, but because the defensive effects are gone, this is where we can actually start doing some damage. So we are going to start hitting greats now. Once all the defensive effects are gone and you get your captains back, he just basically does double strike every single turn. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to use the switch abilities of our dual units, Shanks crew for the attack boost, Vivi Rebecca for the chain lock, and then we're just going to start plotting away at Jack's HP. So Jack doesn't do too much. I don't ever like to let characters take a knee, but so get him pretty close to like the bare barrels of his HP, and then take him out on the second turn. That way you can just maximize your healing as well, as like I've been saying, you really want to make sure that you are at full HP when you hit this next Kaido stage. So let's take Jack out with our switch abilities, and let's move on to the next stage against Kaido. So on stage 19, we come up against the big dog. We come up against Kaido. Kaido gives us 5 turns of burn. Yeah, well, 6 turns, 5 turns after preemptive, and then gives us 99 turns of reduced healing. So this is where our healing factor kind of goes out the window. So we are just going to hit grades with the switch abilities of our units here. So that way we can take Kaido down bit by bit, as we do want to try and keep as much HP as we possibly can. Once we get quite low in terms of our cooldowns, we can actually now use the Liberal Hind special. We're going to use the Liberal Hind special here, so that way we can get Shanks' special back early. What we're going to do now is we're actually going to use our Luffy Sanji special for the 2.5 times attack boost, as we are going to get... Oh, I should have saved that, actually. Yeah, I should have saved that, but that's okay. We're going to use this. We're going to use the special of Shanks' crew now, so we get the 3.5 times chain lock. And we're going to just try and burst Kaido down here. We should have heaps of damage. Now, you got to be really careful with Kaido's burn. Kaido's burn is like, it's like a 25k burn if you hit it perfect. So you really want to be careful of that. Honestly, I probably should have stalled it out, but at the same time, like, it's really not that big of a deal as well. Okay, so hopefully we can actually kill Kaido here. We do only just have a chain lock. As I mentioned, I really should have used... oh, actually, no, I wouldn't have been able to because of the special blind. Alright, excellent. So just with the chain lock from Shanks' crew, we actually can kill Kaido, which is really, really cool. But unfortunately, we're not going to have both of our dual units live, as Luffy and Sanji are going to come out of their dual form now. So once we get to the final stage here, we are going to get gloomed for 6 turns, which is a little bit annoying. But once again, with the amazing switch ability of Luffy Sanji, we can reduce that. And I just realized we still have special blind. Well, can we tank a shot here? I think we have to try and tank a shot here. All right, let's switch with everybody. That way we can get some more healing. We still have that recovery down, which kind of sucks, and we still do have a turn of burn. So we are just going to store 1 turn here on Basil Hawkins. And what is he going to do? Okay, so he's just going to bind our top row now, which is fine, as we did bring Corazon. So what we can do here is we can use our Corazon special to do that, to remove the bind and the despair. And unfortunately, we're not going to be at max HP because of that recovery down debuff that Kaido put on us. So we are going to use our Luffy Sanji special for a attack boost. So it's still a 2 times attack boost, which is still pretty good. Then we can use our Sabo special for the orbs, as well as the chain lock, and then we can finish it off with Vivi Rebecca's special. Now, Vivi Rebecca is going to remove the defense up, as well as give color affinity to Corazon, which is the big thing. So we are going to start our chain, I think, with Vivi Rebecca. 129. Yeah, we're definitely starting with Vivi Rebecca. Sweet. So once we start the chain with Vivi Rebecca, we should have just stupid amounts of damage here. If we can finish it off with just Corazon. Nope, just Sabo. Okay, nope, just Luffy Sanji. So there you guys go. That was the Basil Hawkins Forest. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this wasn't really meant to be too much of a guide, more like a showcase for Luffy Sanji, as they can just do some absurd things. And they actually tore through that forest very, very quickly. Without me talking and stuff like that, I could probably speed that on that very, very well. But hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to head down there and belt that like button. And if you do want to stay up to date with more OPTC content that I post, hit that big red subscribe button as well. But guys, most importantly, wherever you are in this beautiful world, make sure to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, I thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Lates!